Board dispatch meeting's order. Board members, you have a copy of the agenda. Are there any changes? If none, I need a motion that we approve the agenda.
So moved.
Brenda,
Second.
Sheila, all in favor? It is approved. All right, next on the agenda is public participation.
I don't believe we have any for the work session.
Board discussion.
I do have, got an email late this afternoon and haven't got to share with you guys yet, but our Maury County School Board did earn the 2025 GSBA Exemplary Board recognition, so congratulations to all of you guys. Thank you to Danielle for all the work she does kind of behind the scenes, getting that stuff together that goes into that. So I thought I would open and share that with you guys, so we'll add another one of those. So thank you guys for the work you do, that you put in for that. Anybody else have anything for board discussion?
Unless you want to talk about renovation at Maury County High School, because I know you put it in using notes, so is there any changes since?
Nothing has really changed then, so really it's just a matter of timing. So that's why I shared the information with you guys, and if you need some more information from Dr. Smith, she can share some financial things with you if you'd like that. But it's, for us, it's going to be a matter of, is it something we want to go at this coming summer, or is it something we want to wait till the following summer? So that's kind of where we are. If we want to go at it this summer, then there's some things we'll have to kind of put in place, probably starting next month, to get some lay the groundwork to be able to do that. So
Well, I would like to see it start this summer. And I think as far as financially we're able to do that, is from what I read, is that.
we can do that. Yes.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions or thoughts? I don't know if you have anything from questions. I know you had talked to Dr. Smith earlier today. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
When they renovate it, we're not, I know we kind of talked about it, but for renovation wise, you're not having the architectural stuff, are you? I mean, it's just,
No.
they're just going there and gutting it and,
So basically what they will be doing is flooring, ceilings, paint, and lighting. More or less those four things. We don't need an architect. It'll be the same paint scheme as what the gym is. Same flooring as what the gym is with LVT. Ceilings, lights, we already know what they're gonna be. There's no sense in paying 6% to an architect to draw something that we already know what the answer is.
But do you have anybody to look at the, I guess, the lighting actually, or y'all going back to the exact same lighting?
The exact same lighting that we have really system-wide. You know, we know the answers to all of these questions. So it'll be, you know, the lighting that we have everywhere else.
how feasible is it for you guys to do some of it?
We don't have enough horsepower. We're painting right now, and it'll take us till Christmas. I mean, and maybe a little bit more just to get the commons area of all that done. I would love to, but we just don't have enough people to get in there and do something like that. Well, it'll be the same renovation basically that Gladden got, right? No, Gladden got a roof. There was a whole lot more, you know. Inside, Yeah, and also it will be doors and door hardware. Add that to the list too.
For the whole school? For the whole school?
Yes, ma'am. What about the cafeteria? That's kind of a question mark right now. It probably come up with money and how much extra that's gonna be. We may or we may not. We're just not really sure right now.
Because the original plans, it was the next phase was the front office area was going to be built out beside the gym. The kitchen was going to be rebuilt, and then the cafeteria was going to be kind of remodeled to fit maybe some of the existing kitchen and some space there to kind of do. And then the media center was also a topic of how that was going to be handled. What we talked about is trying to focus on, from a financial perspective, and then also just from a practicality perspective, focus on where the kids are. The kids are in the classrooms every day. We'd like to make that place, that area look good. We can deal with front office space later. We can deal with kitchen space later. Cafeteria, we might do some things with, but that may depend on some other things. That's kind of where he's talking about, we don't go in and do a bunch of stuff and come back later and knock it down. I don't think we're gonna be at that place, but, that's why, for us, it made sense to kind of switch some things around and put the renovation up front, which allows us to be able to take care of the financial aspect of finish paying the things we've got to pay for over here, take care of that renovation part, and then down the road, we can look at finishing the remodel with the front-facing things that you can see.
Now, I'm, in my mind, I thought we were going to get to add, or have, I don't know if it could be add, but have the culinary area. I thought that was in the first plans. That
It
there
was talks about as, because it would have to be some renovation of some CTAE spaces, and there's some CTAE implications and.
Yeah, we're, Murray High right now is not, we're grandfathered in as far as the lab space, but we're not, once CTA is renovated, and I think that was in the last phases, of all the renovations, we gotta go up to code for our lab spaces. The lab classes are not up to code as of right now, but we're okay because we're grandfathered in from when it was built, so.
So will we get the culinary part or no?
Well, that will be something whenever that phase hits that we talk about. We'll have to look at it as far as, are we going to start a new pathway? We'll have to build that lab space. We'll have to look for teacher. Do we have the numbers to add one? Or do we dissolve one? So that'll be the discussion once that phase hits. But I was under the understanding CTA is the last phase of the renovation, which is like 5 or so years out, I think is what I was told, but.
Well, I just remember seeing the culinary because that was something that I was hoping that
Yes,
we would get.
yes,
I'd
we
like
would
for us to
love
have,
Good.
you know,
It was something that, that was talked about originally, and it's still a blank sheet of paper. We absolutely can do that. But as Dr. Wright said, the stuff that we're gonna try to do, this summer, it'll be stuff that we know will not change 4 or 5 years from now. So we know we're not gonna have to redo or tear up something that we've already done. So
Yeah.
that's the reason that, stuff like culinary arts will not get done right now.
I do feel
And
it's
that would have to
important.
be up to lab code and
I
lab
do feel
space.
it's important that if we don't offer something at one high school, and I think we've already voted on a couple of students, if there's a pathway at North Murray or vice versa, that they get the equal opportunity and, as anyone else would.
It's one of those things where trying to get it equal, it
Yeah.
was equal, but a lot of CTAE is responsive to your students. And so if students at a school are just not signing up for the class, but they want something else, I think that's where that shift happened, where you had the differences. But that changes over time, and so.
Yeah.
do they, when they fill out, do they have the option of saying, I wish I had this? Is that on their sheet?
No,
Because
there's
some of
not.
them may not even know to
Yeah.
ask about that.
Ask. if
Ask
they
to transfer or whatever that looks like, because they just have never been able to. But I
Yeah.
feel like equal opportunity for whoever wants to do.
And that's something whenever they go into 8th grade, the 8th grade, when they do the meetings and they tour the schools and they talk about it, if that's something we wanna put on there, we can. Just to let them know that that is an option if they do. I mean, we can talk about it and let them know that, but, as of right now, they just get to kind of pick what pathway they would like to go into, what they're interested in.
Do we have, the, hairdressing at both schools?
Cosmetology, no, it's at North Murray. Culinary and cosmetology is at North Murray.
And what does Murray County have that they don't have?
Construction,
Welding?
welding, business. I think off the top of my head, business, yeah, those three, construction.
Business would just be a classroom
Mm-hmm,
instead of a construction thing.
yes, yeah, yes.
And that's where you get into the space, because once we start tinkering with one, we have to hit them all, is that correct,
That's
Chris?
correct. So each lab, depending on what it is, cosmetology has a required square footage. Audiovisual was another one that was kicked around, as far as, something that they might wanna do. But each one, regardless of what it is, you have minimums. for a lot of different things, and square footage is a big one. So whatever we choose to do, cosmetology would fit, you know, and I'll just throw this out as an example, in the old transportation room. That's a big room, you can make that work with cosmetology. I'm not sure, I'd have to look at what square footages are for the other things, but it would, you know, it may require taking a wall out here or adding a wall there. That's what we'll need to get into as we get a little bit closer to time to see, you know, this is what we're after, this is what we can do with the footage that we've got.
But as far as what we're talking about possibly doing next summer, that would be independent of that. So we'll talk about the renovation, and then if we want to look at the parking lot, if we feel that it won't be damaged by things that go on in the future, that's something we could kind of tie into that, because I know that's something we've talked
Yeah,
about, is
I
the
know that's
parking lot.
been some concerns, parking lot. and-
Yeah. And we think we can probably get away with that without doing anything. We just don't want to do something and then 3 years from now or 4 years from now, construction goes on, and we're messing up what we did. But if we get a sense when they come out and do some looking at it that we can do that, then we can kind of tie that into this next summer. Next summer, if that's the time that you guys are comfortable with, that we want to do. And if that's what you'd like to do, we'll have a financial presentation in November to talk about that and as far as how that's going to work if we do next summer. If we wanted to wait till the following summer, we'd just kind of put everything on hold, you know, for a year and dig into it in the fall of '26. But
Okay, so we're going to do all that before we do any renovations on Coker or Spring Place?
that's, yes. But this is a small renovation. Spring
Not
Place.
Spring Place,
Not
these
Spring
ones, I'm
Place.
sorry,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Spring Place.
I knew where, I
Yeah.
could see the school, I just said it right now.
The needs there are, it's more of an HVAC situation there, some roofing issues, I think.
Roofing and HVAC at Coker is huge, HVAC at Eton is huge, HVAC at Chatsworth is huge. I can talk to you as long as you want to listen. But your two schools, in my opinion, are working on them every day, are Coker and Eton Elementary, that need a lot of TLC.
They've had nothing done.
That is correct. They've had nothing done.
Would this help our controls too?
I'm
With
sorry?
HVAC, would this help our controls too with HVAC system?
We have controls at both those schools, so luckily, we're fine there. And that is honestly a small ticket item compared to like the HVAC. At each one of those schools, Coker and Eton, you're probably looking at around $3 million a school just for the HVAC in that neighborhood. And you can take that and multiply it by just about every elementary school we've got, with the exception of Northwest. About $30 million bucks. If I had to come to you right now, it's about what I need for HVAC. A lot of these units are 30 years old, some are more than that. So they need work.
Is this where they weren't taken care of over the years, or?
They were not replaced when they should have been. That's what it boils down to. You can't drive something that long.
Yeah.
It's not feasible, but we've done it, and we're making it work, but at some point in time, the end of the road is gonna come. We've gotta be thinking about that as we move forward.
And one of the things we've talked about as far as from a financial standpoint is the capital outlay money that is building from the state is money that we can use to do some of these things with. The hard part with the capital outlay money is you have to front it because it's a reimbursable grant. So if we were gonna do a big project, we would have to front all of that, and then the state will reimburse us on their timetable. It could be a few months, it could take a couple of months longer than that, but you've gotta be able to have the liquidity to do that up front. So if we do HVAC and some of those maintenance things with that, we don't have to do it all at once. We can do it in kind of small chunks, which might make that a little easier for us to front and then get the reimbursement for. Whereas if you're talking a big project like that one over there, you know, at the price it would be, we're talking, you know, anywhere from $3 to $4 million for the renovation part over there. You know, that's one where it's a bigger chunk up front. That's why we were talking about doing it financially a little differently than trying to use capital outlay, because it may be hard to have, you know, $3.5, $4 million on hand to do something, because it'll go quick. That'll be done in a summer. Whereas HVAC, we can kind of do, we've got some, I guess, ways we can, with capital outlay, Chris, like where we can apply for some and
That's correct.
kind of set up a schedule of how we do that.
What's the life expectancy of a unit?
Roughly 10 years. and we've got some that are 30+. It's just like at your home. I mean, it's no different. It's a bigger situation, but it's the same thing. You know, if you got a unit at your house that's 30 years old, you know that you're in trouble, right? We've got hundreds of them.
I'm just wondering, going forward, to keep them all hitting at the same time. You know, that's gotta be dealt with.
Well, that's where capital outlay and a plan come into place. It's not hard to do, but you've gotta have a funding mechanism, right? Capital outlay can be that funding mechanism. And then it's just planning in the future of how to take smaller bites out of stuff like this instead of larger bites.
Keep it on rotation.
And then using your eSPOS to supplement that. That's where some of the liquidity may come. We can pay for it with that and then get reimbursed back from the state. So like, once the biggest part of that project over there is kind of complete and it's kind of getting paid for over the next couple of years, that lets us be able to better plan out what we may want to do. And that's where, you know, stuff at the high school, you know, we'll just have to see. Like, sometimes the best laid plans, things change, you know, financially, things change with need. We talked about enrollment, some of those things that come up. You know, we were, you know, in that cafeteria and that kitchen over there when it was a lot more students than we have now. And so, like, does that become a priority? I don't know. I think we could probably be okay with that to take care of some of these other things that come along. But luckily, our folks in Murray County have been great to support our eSPOS, which has made all of those things possible. And it also allows us to have the funds to be able to do that, even when the state is going to reimburse us for it, which is good. And the longer, if we let that sit a little bit longer, we said we probably got about 5 million in there right
A
now.
little over 5.
We're adding 1.3-ish a year. So if we wanted to talk about the summer after next, what we might want to do with that money, we would be talking next summer, looking ahead that far. So we do have some options, but the renovation part over there, if that's something we want to tackle next summer, that's something we'll have to get on, and we'll fund it a little differently, but we'll have to get on that, and we can do a presentation on that next month.
And remember too, that your application for capital outlay, you can only do it one time a year, there's a window. So the window's closed right now, we can't do it until spring of next year. So, you know, to keep that in mind, you can't just make an application regardless of where your entitlement sheet is. You have to make the application during the window in the spring.
Yeah, it's a lot, there's a lot to that process. It's
Yes,
not as
there is.
simple as some other ways are. Any other questions about that or anything else from the board discussion?
All right, if there's nothing else, next on the agenda is quality workforce.
All right, our third readings, Mike's got these ready for a couple of board policies.
Yeah, we've got the facilities use policy that we kind of surveyed what some other districts around us were doing in terms of pricing, and felt like that we were, you know, way behind, not been updated for a lot of years. We have new facilities, and so met with the principals, and we're proposing that we increase the rates on the gyms and the auditorium there at North Murray. And then the other policy was one that's required by the state. It's a charter school. It has to do with applications to the charter, for a charter school, and the timelines and that sort of thing. We were alerted by the state that we need to have something like that in place, even though we, you know, haven't had any kind of petition for a charter school yet, but we need to have a policy in case it does happen someday down the road.
Mike, I know we've talked about the gym and all those kind of things. We mentioned a while ago about what if somebody wanted to, like, rent a classroom to do tutoring or something in?
Yeah, we talked to other districts and around us, and they do not allow that gratuitously. They have to pay just like anybody else does use a space.
But that's what I'm saying, we've got the price for the gym and those things, but how much would it be for somebody to rent a classroom? We don't have that on there.
Yeah.
And I mean, it may not happen, but I was just thinking it might.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You can't make it too much. you know.
Yeah. We could certainly add something if y'all wanted to do that. I wouldn't have any idea what to set it at.
You know.
I mean, could we add a line in there, any other facilities at the discretion of the district and the principal? That would kind of cover that.
Yeah,
What would change for the principals if somebody was paying for a room versus not paying for a room and tutor? Nothing. They're still going to be being tutored in their school. And if they've got some things, issues that they want to stay away from, then we wouldn't need to offer that. I'm just, you see what I'm saying?
That's why I think if we don't have anything specific in there, it kind of gives us a little bit of leeway. Because I think the issue that we had, that some of our principals brought up, was it puts us in a bad spot if something happens that goes wrong, whether they're being paid or not being paid, inside the building.
Yeah.
But from a rented space standpoint, it's the same thing.
Well, yeah.
Like the gym,
Nothing
they ran the
changes.
gym, and they ran a cafeteria. I mean, that just came, that if they really wanted to do that, and that might be a way that they could help kids. That's just what I was thinking.
Well, we could add, like Dr. Wright said, if we wanted to, a provision that says any other area in the school could be negotiated between the principal or the superintendent or designee.
Yeah, 'cause I feel like if y'all put something in there, then, and it's like, well, we're really not sure, I mean,
Well, that would cover any other
that's what I'm
space.
saying, then it would cover something, that would cover you on
I
the,
mean, you can't, I guess you could, but you look at a big document, you can't name every little place.
No, that's what I'm
or
saying.
separate
No,
statement,
no.
because somewhere down the road, somebody might want to rent, what is it, where the cow shows and stuff up at North Murray, that atrium in the back, I ain't been back there since,
The ag barn?
Yeah.
I mean, so.
is it all
General
to the
statement should do it.
discretion of the principal, if they rent it out or not?
We have given them that discretion because
Yeah, I
of
feel like that should be.
convenience and,
Yes,
they may or may not have somebody who can be there.
yes.
So, but we want to try to work with the
Yeah.
community. But there are instances where it's just not practical for whatever reason.
But the main thing with facilities is always gonna be the gym and the auditoriums, which is kind of what we were looking to cover there, but, so we might can add a little statement in there just to give us the wiggle room we need there. At that point, if it's not something that we need to do, then, we won't. I don't think we'll get much of a request for that.
And it might not come up.
Yeah.
But I'd rather be prepared than come back and go, oh.
Yeah.
All right, any questions on the facilities use for the charter school?
All right, if there's no further questions, I need a motion that we approve board policy KG and IBB.
So moved.
Second.
Kelly, Tony, all in favor? It is approved. All right, I need a motion that we go to executive session.
So moved.
Okay.
Oh, really? Okay, so moved. Second, whatever.
Kelly, then Brenda, all in favor? We are in executive session. Any other discussion? If
I make a
none,
motion to adjourn.
Second.
Linda, Hunter, all in favor? We are adjourned. And we'll start in about 4 or 5 minutes. Let's call the Maury County Board of Education meeting to order. Board members, you have a a copy of the agenda. Are there any changes? If none, I need a motion that we approve the agenda. Brenda,
Second.
Hunter, all in favor? It is approved. If you will, please rise for the pledge of inspiration.
Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Father God, we just thank you for this day. Thank you for the participation we have here today. Father, we just pray for these teachers, these administrators, that you always put the hedge of protection around them and our students, and guide us in the decisions we make, that we might make the decisions that glorify you in all that we do. For us in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Next on the agenda is consent items. You have a copy of the minutes. Are there any changes that need to be made? If none, I need a motion that we approve the minutes as presented.
Make a motion.
Tony,
Second.
Sheila, all in favor? Minutes are approved. Next is recognition.
Yeah, we got a couple of things tonight, so I want to ask Coach Granger to come on up. I think he's going to bat lead off for us and tell us who not to challenge in a foot race and some other stuff as well.
Those that don't know me, I'm Steve Granger, Athletic Director at North Murray High School, and I have the privilege and the honor to present Malia Schmidt as our 400-meter 2025 state champion. Coach Roberts has something to say.
Hey there, if you don't know me, I'm Coach Roberts. I'll be this year's head track and field coach. And there's just not enough words that we can say about Malia. We are so proud of her. She is such a great representative for North Murray. She is by far the hardest working athlete that we might have in the entire school, but definitely on the track team. And just that we can come here tonight and honor her and recognize her for all of her efforts, I'm just so glad we can do that because she deserves every bit of it. So congratulations, Malia.
And by the way, she's only a sophomore or junior now, so hopefully we'll be back 2 more times.
You don't have to move that. I think you might have to move that. No, so I can still get it. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Fast.
All right. Hold for Jim.
Got it, thank you.
Congratulations.
Emily, if you ever see me, I'm usually wearing tennis shoes, and I worked in elementary school for a long time. And I tell them, if you think you can run away from me, try me. I'm undefeated. I would not be undefeated when I see that time up there. That is crazy.
What's the time?
57 seconds.
2-4.
That is picking them up and putting them down there. All right, we have one more recognition tonight. I'm going to ask Miss Ridley to come up and share that one. I know she likes to come up front and center and talk. That's her favorite thing. But we're going to celebrate some of our wonderful nutrition staff in our system.
So I'm Amanda Ridley, Director of School Nutrition, and I wanted to take this time to tell the board about a very special award that Northwest Elementary got. So at a luncheon in Macon on September the 18th, the Department of Education recognized 22 schools out of the whole entire state of Georgia and gave a banner, and it is called the Cafeteria of Excellence Award. And this award recognizes exceptional work of a local school nutrition professionals and their commitment to serving quality school meals and providing excellent customer service. And that's exactly what these ladies do. And the criteria is very lengthy, and it's a year-long process and a very long application process. And I wanted to point out that all the while they're doing this, they were also picked by the state to do an administrative review, which they come around every 5 years and do an audit, and they were picked for that. And in addition, their assistant manager had a baby and went on maternity leave and then decided to stay home with the baby. So they had a lot going on last year and still managed to do all this. So I wanted to go over a little bit of the criteria because we don't get to brag on you guys very often. So some of the criteria was 20% of the menu had to be Georgia-grown items. So we do try to buy some Georgia-grown items. Their health inspection score had to be over 90, which theirs was 100 twice, both times. The lunch participation, the number of kids who eat, had to be over the state average, which is 65.6, but of course Northwest was 87.3. They had to have a marketing plan, and I'm thinking most of you in this room have voted for their trays. And they have one tray of the week, so they
twice now.
they have a marketing plan. They like to be out there showing their product, which is what we want them to do. They dress up for all kinds of theme days and participate in all the promotions. They market their menu to the parents and the students. They're constantly dressed up. Their bulletin board is always beautiful, and they decorate like nobody else in the county, that's for sure. And then they had to have a letter of support with specific examples that demonstrate their excellence in quality school meals and their student and community engagement. And so I didn't get to read this letter until it was read at the state luncheon. So Miss Petty, the principal, she submitted a letter on their behalf, and she couldn't have described the staff any better. And part of her letter said, "Our cafeteria is more than just a place for students to eat. It's a vibrant, welcoming space that reflects the heart of our school community. The cafeteria team consistently goes above and beyond to create a positive and engaging environment for all of our students, all while knowing their names, offering encouragement, and providing nutritious and appealing meals." And it is always a pleasure to go visit and eat with these girls at Northwest Elementary. So tonight we have the manager, Chelsea Shipman, so I wanted to recognize her. And then we have Megan Shoemaker, Kathy Choate, Patricia Martin, and Leanne Shoemaker. So thank you, girls, for all you do. Beautiful banner, so they can hang this up at the school. And I know Miss Petty's probably already found a place to go.
Yeah, we have a banner.
we And of 22 schools. That's big. I mean, it's big. It's a big deal. Big deal. So thank you very much.
When do y'all want us to come?
Yeah, we can get you.
You wouldn't want to try it out.
Okay, don't try to focus under there, it just keeps the board from having to. That's why let them focus.
This is a struggle.
Okay, can you get us all in? Okay.
Just one second.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me get one more. A little tricky on my, I'm not sure. 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Congratulations.
All right, if anyone would like to leave at this time, you're more than welcome to, or you can stay for the rest of the meeting. We'd love to have you. But if you'd like to leave, we'll give you a few minutes to step up.
I'm allowed to now.
Congratulations, lady.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Thank y'all very much.
Take care. Thank y'all for everything y'all do. Great.
All right, next on the agenda is public participation.
We have one coming tonight. Let me make sure I've got all my stuff here. So, Ms. Thompson? Yes. Come on up.
Ms. Reed's going to read the procedures for speaking to before the board. She'll read that real quick.
Ms. Thompson. Speakers will be given 5 minutes to speak before the board. The speaker shall state his or her name. All remarks should be made to the board as a body, not to a particular board member. No person shall be allowed to make obscene, derogatory, or slanderous remarks while addressing the board. No person shall be allowed to disrupt or interfere with procedures. Remarks shall be made at the end and allow you to have your time. Questions from the board or the superintendent may be asked for clarification. However, no person shall be permitted to enter into a discussion with the board or any member of the board. Yes, so you can go ahead and start.
Okay, my name's Laura Thomason. So I'm a Murray County resident and a parent volunteer here in the community. And I'm actually here tonight due to my recent experiences, which I discovered that we don't have a lot of transparency in Booster Club implementation or I guess even participation. So again, I graduated like 20 years ago. So in my time, it was kind of open to anyone to participate, faculty, alumni, community members, and so forth. So apparently that might not be, and I could have misunderstood, but due to my experience, that's not exactly how things are being operated now. So my goal is to work with the board to bring more transparency to Booster Club implementation and participation, and hopefully get bylaws kind of based on the state standard, Georgia High School Association standards, kind of both of those combined, and have bylaws and kind of rules and parameters published, because I tried to go to the district website and I couldn't find anything. And it could be that I'd looked in the wrong area, but I couldn't really find anyone that could point me in the right direction either. So that's kind of my goal here. I really want to make sure that all booster clubs are compliant and that everyone feels welcome to participate, and that they're being operated with the same standards that are listed in personnel handbooks, student handbooks, and kind of, I guess, that overall expectation that people will, you know, behave appropriately, ethically, morally, and so forth. So at this time, I guess that's really kind of where I'm at. I just wanted to put that out there and hopefully get some support and guidance from the board and how to move forward.
Questions?
Any questions?
And yours is in, you were involved in the North Murray High School cheer booster club?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they've got your information. We'll have somebody who can reach back out just to
Absolutely.
share any thoughts with you and kind of go from there.
Perfect, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is the superintendent report.
All right. First thing is the FY26 CTAE budget. What's better than voting for something once and voting for it twice? We gotta do it again. No, there's a window that it has to be voted within, and we were actually early with something for once, so we were good.
Yes, I apologize, I was trying to be on top of everything.
No, we were, for once, like, hey, we
We
did
did
it.
it in April, and for my grant, it had to be May.
So you guys voted by poll to be within that window, but we just have to have a public vote kind of ratifying what you did by poll. So you've already voted for this. It was in the packet there, so I just need that to be taken care of.
If there's no questions, I need a motion that we approve the FY26 CTAE budget.
Second.
Hunter, Tony, all in favor? It is approved. Okay.
All right, next up is our financial report. So Dr. Smith, take it away.
I know I say this each month that I get up here, but tonight is the last night we're gonna talk about FY25 officially. So, on the first thing that we have are the SPLOST numbers. This will update us as of the end of September. So we have for September of 25, we have collections of around 594,000. And September of 24, we have around 559,000. September of 23, we have 435,000. And September of 22 was the anomaly at 937,000. So we still anticipate we've collected 22 million of the 25 million, so we still anticipate having this lost end around March of 2026.
Didn't you say we wanted to go to end of April?
We would love to go to the end of April,
But
but Yeah, when I put in what the collections were for October, November, and December, and January, with those remaining months, if we collected dollar for dollar what we collected this time last year, then it would end in March of '26. So those collection numbers could be less, they could be more, but right now it's looking like it's not gonna go over into April. If it would be great, because then we could collect April, May, and June. But now it looks like it may end actually in January or February of '26, and we would collect March. Okay. Any more questions on the SPLOST? Next, we have the actual, we have the balance sheets on our cash. Not much has changed from the last time we talked about June 30th cash. When you compare it to June 30th of '24, those numbers seem roughly about the same. Let's go on and we can look at the final revenues, the next page down. So revenues for 2025 ended up being right at $78,107,425.02. That number should stay, that shouldn't fluctuate any. We've closed the books as of September, so that number should be pretty much the way that the revenues were collected that came in. Next, you'll see expenditures came in at right at $79,044,979. So there again, there's no more expenditures that can be applied to FY25. So those numbers they are the final number for the fiscal year end. So the revenue, of course, when your expenditures exceed your revenues, that creates your deficit. So if you look there at the last page, you'll see where the deficit ended up at. So overall, it was anticipated to be around $1 million. If you'll remember back when we started talking about this, we thought it might be around $1.5 million. Then we got down to $1 million. And now we got down, looks like we ended at less than $1 million at $937,000. That number won't change. The next time you see the actual numbers will be when you receive a copy of the audit. We've already done the pre-planning portion of the audit. We'll do some more audit work this month, November and December. It'll probably carry into January. You should sometime February we'll actually close the audit, and that's when the auditors will determine what the fund balance is, but it should be roughly around the $7.4 million, which is more than what we anticipated earlier at 7.1. So that was a good way to end this year, a lot better than how it started. And of course, we'll take that, it's ended up a lot better than the previous year with that deficit amount. So it's kudos. It was a great way to end FY25. And from this point forward, we'll talk about 26 numbers. I did run the balance sheet today to see where we were. And when I say these numbers, it's typical for this time of the year. So we have around $7.5 million in revenues that have come in. I don't have that sheet in there. And we've got roughly $10.4 million of expenditures. So that is very normal. That's why we talk about the cash flow during this time of the year. So we roughly, right now, we have a deficit around $2.8 million. But that is the way we will run until we start getting the tax collections in early December. And then those numbers start catching up to each other. And we start closing that gap. So starting in next month's financials, you will actually see when I present to you the financials in next month's budget, it'll be from July 1 to the current end of the month, which will be probably your October financials. Okay? Any questions on that? FY25 is gone and done with. So looking forward to FY26 on the investment pool. This is the time of the year where we have to dip into that investment pool, and so we collected around $6,000 in interest for this month compared to $8,000 this time last year. For FY25, we collected $255,000. For FY26, we've collected $41,000 since July 1 in interest. So overall, we've collected around $671,000 in total since we started the investment pool. So those numbers will pick up as the year goes, and we'll start putting more money in our Georgia Fund 1 account. Next, we have about 4 purchase orders we need to talk about. The first one is Remind 101, and that is the parent Remind portal that the schools use for parents.
Communication tool for teacher to parent.
Teacher to parents, so very important, very good communication tool. It used to be a long time back, it used to be almost a free service, and then we started having, once they got you hooked into it, then you have to start paying for it. But luckily this year, Donna was able to pay for this out of federal dollars, so that's not coming out of our local budget, so that'll be paid with federal dollars, the $27,000 for this year's renewal. That is a 1-year renewal, annual fee. Next, we have transportation. We have in the FY26 budget, you did approve for monies in that budget to refurbish some older models, buses. We didn't have money in there to buy buses. We were going to refurbish some that we already currently have. This is an 06 model that needs a new engine in it, so that is a $36,000 expense that was in the FY26 budget. So that is to replace that model.
How many were looking to refurbish?
Pardon?
How many were we looking to refurbish?
I think we put 8 to 10 maybe in there, depending on need. Okay. After that, we have maintenance PO. This is also out of the general fund budget, and that was also in the FY26 budget. This is a 20-ton heat pump for Bagley Middle School. We were going to start, we put in to replace some units there in the FY26 budget, knowing that that we were going to have to start doing that. So this is an $88,000 expense coming out of the general fund for Bagley Middle School. Last, we have a falls under maintenance again, but this one is actually, we're going to expense it. It comes out of the general fund, but we're expensing it out of capital outlay, which means that it's not going to actually come out of the budget line item that we have set aside in FY26, but it is an expense that we will pay for, and hopefully down the road we can use SPLOST dollars to pay ourselves back. So it's resurfacing the tennis courts at North Murray High School. That's also including some new nets. So we're going to use the SPLOST expense account to do that, and then pay for that expense, and then use hopefully future SPLOST dollars to pay ourselves back for that.
You've been up there and seen the tennis courts. It was definitely needed. They were cracked badly up there. We're also working on the ones over at Murray County High School. That one is a split deal between the city, the county, and the school system, because they use it at the rec as well. So that's why that one has not cost us as much, because it's a 3-way split on there. But
And thanks for the visual. It's easier for you to do it than me to try to sit up here and scroll. Any questions?
I have a question. You've got the Murray County High School door hardware, $11,000. What doors?
So I'll let Chris answer what doors, but we're starting to replace those at the school level.
So this is a set of doors at, what I call the math hallway. I think it's changed to maybe English. But going out on the east side of the building, it's doors, door frames, door hardware. It's 40 years old. It's shot.
It's like the exit door.
That is correct. It's exterior, and it gets used a lot. And it's just to the point where the frames are being twisted, the doors are in pretty bad shape, and the hardware is, in pretty rough shape too. Any of that stuff when it comes to door and door hardware is crazy expensive.
Is that just material cost, or is that?
Material and labor.
this adult English classes, ESL adult English classes, what is that for?
We did that last year, if you recall. We had,
Like parents can come in? and-
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
and if you'll see the fund on that one,
federal.
that one is a federal. Anything on the left side over there where you see 400s,
Yeah.
those are gonna be federal, so that one is federal paid.
Okay.
That was a big success last year. We were super excited about that. We've got a lot of people that are wanting to do it and a waiting list, I think, to get on it. So, we can't wait to get that started, I think in the next week or two, if I remember.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? All right, if there's no other question, I need a motion that we approve the SPOS outline as presented.
So moved.
Hunter,
Second.
Miranda, all in favor? It is approved. I need a motion that we approve the financial statement as presented.
Make a motion.
Second.
Sheila, all in favor? It is approved. I need a motion that we approve the 4 purchase orders as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Kelly, Tony, all in favor? They are approved. Next is student achievement.
All right, and so we've got a field trip for you there. That is a cheer competition, cheerleading. And we just ask that you would approve. It's coming up in December.
Is there any questions on that?
2 of them. I
I'm
think
sorry.
there's
Oh,
one
there
in
is, thank
November
you.
and one in December.
Yes, one in,
Yes.
one in November as well, thank you.
All right, I need a motion that we approve the field trips.
So moved.
Kelly,
Second.
Hunter, all in favor? They are approved.
All right, next up is school calendar. Looking ahead to 26-27. You've got a copy in there. As we've talked about last year, on a 160-day calendar, it kind of writes itself. If you start at Labor Day and end at Memorial Day. So you've only got a few things to really decide. We talked with our staff, our principals, and our district leadership, went through some different ideas, had the principals go out and share that with staff. Essentially what they voted on was how they want to handle pre-planning. In the past few years, we've done 6 days of pre-planning, and with the way the calendar sets up, this year we were starting as soon as we could start in September, which was September 2nd. Next year, it's the opposite, just as the calendar moves. So it's September 8th is when the first day of school will be. So we gave the teachers the option of keeping the 6 days of pre-planning or going to 5 days. 5 days gives an extra week essentially in August for 10-month staff, which are teachers. They voted for that overwhelmingly. So the school calendar has 5 days of pre-planning, still starts on Labor Day or the day after Labor Day. We have a Columbus Day holiday in October. We have Veterans Day is off for students. That's a teacher work day. Thanksgiving as normal, Christmas as normal, and the last day will be a Friday. And so they'll have 2 weeks for Christmas. Come back, we'll have a work day on the 4th. Kids will come back on the 5th. Martin Luther King Jr. Day as traditional. February, we have our midwinter break over President's Day week as it normally is. The other thing the teachers had the option of voting on was when to do spring break. Easter in 2027, not 2026, not this year, but in 2027, falls on March 28th. So we gave them the option of taking the following week for spring break, which would have been half in March and half in April, or taking the week after, the first full week in April. Overwhelmingly, the teachers chose the first full week in April as spring break. And then, so what we decided to do here on the 26th, which is Good Friday, that will be a student holiday and a teacher work day. So the kids will be out on Good Friday, but staff will be working. Last day of school, now because we're starting later in February, just the way the calendar feels, we go all the way to the end of May. And May 28th is the final day of school, and the final 2 days of post-planning will actually be in June this year, whereas we were in early May, or well, late May, but early in late May there. So still on the 160-day calendar, as we have been traditionally for the last 15, 16 years, but Staff voted, and that's what they chose.
So no virtual days?
We have no virtual
No digital-
days
or
on the
digital
calendar,
learning?
no digital learning days on the 26-27 calendar. We have one coming up this Friday on this calendar, that's our only one. Last year, we had two to do some training that we needed to do from the state. This year, we left one on there to kind of finish
So we
that
done with
up,
that training?
tie a bow on it.
We done with that training?
We are done with the literacy training. All of our folks got their hours in. We're just kind of taking care of some curriculum things on this training day and some other ones. But we have training day, we have 10 typical professional learning days. The distance learning days allowed us to have an extra. And also allowed us to test our distance learning capabilities if we had to be out for a long period of time. It gives us a little preview of what that looks like. But we feel comfortable with that next year, so none of those on the calendar.
There's some typos up here.
There may be.
Just the ones that's gonna send out this week.
No. This was just a working document. We were filling.
268 responses?
That was how many staff responses I had on the poll, yes.
Okay. Does that seem low, or?
Out of 750, 800, 20% response rate's not too bad. It would be statistically significant if I were doing research.
All right, if there's no other questions, I need a motion that we approve the 26-27 school calendar.
Make a motion.
Sheila? Conrad? All in favor? It is approved.
All right, next up on the teaching, on the thing, we have a CTE Plus. You want to share a couple of things about that? Ms. Terry, you can see there's some new options from the state that we've got.
Yes. Well, the CTA Plus, and you have a copy of what we're handing out to our students, is something that the state has done where once students complete a pathway, they can get their fourth academic graduation requirement taken care of, if they need it. We're gonna do it on a standpoint as if students need it. The thing that I need approved though from you is geometry. So for this school year, the state has said students, if they pass the construction pathway, then they're able to earn their geometry credit. Now this will be just for students that do need it. However, because, and Dr. Winkler can correct me, Ms. Morrow, geometry is typically offered sophomore year, right, Dr. Locke? Yes, sophomore year. So it's gonna take 3 years to complete a pathway, so most of them's already gonna have it. But this is gonna be an option for the students who might not have passed, and who are looking for the technical school because in that route and going into the workforce, because this will not satisfy the university system of Georgia if they want to go that route. So it would be more for your technical kids trying to go ahead and get that high school diploma, get into the workforce. That does need board approval for geometry. The others do not need board approval, but we want you to go ahead and see what we're doing and kind of giving the students. And this is just something that the parents would look at, they're going to talk to the counselors about, and they need to understand, even earning, say, your fourth academic requirement, that's still good for your technical path students. And so we just want to make sure that they do understand that, and that's where they can earn that credit.
I know we discussed a little bit about this last time, on our previous meeting.
Yeah, it's a really good option for a lot of the students.
So these kids will understand that they won't be able to get in a university.
Yes.
Y'all are gonna make that aware.
Yes, and parents are gonna sign.
And you got a.
They're gonna have a meeting, parents are gonna sign, students are gonna sign it. And this would be their junior, senior year when these conversations are being had, because we all know if you're freshmen walking in, they have one thought, but then by the time they're seniors, you know, they're gonna have a very different thought. So that's when these conversations are gonna be had with parents, students, and so that this is an option, so. But the geometry, if we want to do that, that's local board approval. So if y'all don't want to do that, we don't have to approve it. But that one, because geometry is a grad requirement on its own, I think that's why they want local board approval on that one. The others, most of the fourth academics, there's options, and there's several options students can take to fulfill that requirement. And that's why it's not so, if you notice, like, if they complete ag mechanics, they'll take care of that fourth option. So because there's already a variety of options that students can fulfill that grad requirement with, except for geometry. It's very specific, and so that's why they want the board approval. But a lot of ours, they're all gonna have it anyway, besides your handful, so.
And we're gonna schedule them as if they would take geometry normally.
Yes.
So this is gonna help your kids that, you know, had an issue with math. It's not, we're not gonna not schedule them for geometry.
Right.
Any other questions? We'll just need y'all to vote to approve of the geometry.
All right, I need a motion that we approve the geometry part of the CTAE Plus program.
So moved.
Kelly? Brenda? All in favor? It is approved.
All right, quality workforce, you've got the personnel packet as presented.
All right, I need a motion that we approve the personnel packet as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Brenda? Tony? All in favor? It is approved. We need a executive session. Is there any board discussion?
Did we ever, we get any more information on that, was it that Georgia Peach or whatever that?
Yeah, so last week, we got notified that we were accepted by the Georgia Peach tax credit thing. So we have 3 projects up for, I say bid on there, it's not really for bid, but what the program actually is it is not a tax write-off, it is a tax credit. So individuals can take advantage of it, small businesses can take advantage of it, and large businesses can take advantage. On the website, it tells you how much you can use toward it. Individuals, it might be $2,500. So essentially, if I've got a tax burden of over $2,500, I could go on there and make a donation to one of our projects, and the state of Georgia will issue me tax credits for dollar for what I donated, and it'll knock that off my tax rate, which is nice. But really, for businesses, that's gonna be a thing. We just got some marketing materials in last week, and they just got us set up on the website on Friday, so we're gonna start advertising that out. We'll share that with our local business partners, all that. We have 3 projects up. One is greenhouses. We need a greenhouse rebuilt at Gladden. It was destroyed with some weather, plus some upgrades and some fixes at some other greenhouses in the system. 2 is some CTAE equipment for our welding ag mechanics program. I think it's like some CNC machinery and some things like that that'll help them workforce wise. And the 3rd project were some special needs playgrounds at a couple of our schools. Those are quite expensive, and also some extra money in that for equipment at other playgrounds that already exist. And so we're excited about those opportunities. That's $500,000 worth of projects that are out there, and you could have, truthfully, you could have a couple of businesses eat those up real quick. They told me there's $10 million of tax credits left. They only issue so many each year. So there's still time on 2025 taxes for people to do that. We're gonna start sharing out all that information, hopefully this week, once we get some things finalized with the state people. So I'm excited about that.
Anything else? If none, I need a motion that we adjourn.
Make a motion.
Brenda?
Second.
Hunter? All in favor?